coffee cup.
You will learn one thing. That one thing that will never change. When the Ring General steps into a ring, he will come out victorious.
Yo, what's poppin', all my peeps? It is I, your host with the most, Renaissance man who always thinks he can, and you're a champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, back once again in the Yard of Streams for another edition of Pitts and Sara's Wrestling Show, where we take no nights off. And it's not just me, Patty P, here in the Yard of Streams. I'm joined, as always, by the best of the West. You can't forget about Sara Marshall. What's popping, girl?
Hey, yo.
That video, well, hello. The video of Gunther made me smile so big. I don't know why.
That was the biggest. I will say, because if anyone's not familiar with StreamYard, the little box in the corner with your camera, and I can just see you light up a little bit. I'm like, nailed it, got it, got to smile.
Yeah,
that's all we're doing today.
I was trying to update the tweet to add your name into it, and then the hashtag, the Royal Rumble hashtag. So I didn't know what you were clicking, and then I could just hear so I got excited.
Yeah, I can tell. That's all I try to do, Sara, every day is just put smiles on people's face. It's basically what my job was today as I traveled across what felt like the entire state of Massachusetts.
Jelly.
It was just a long day of that. But I will say it is a nice perk, a nice benefit of my job that I am in the car and on the road because I get to listen to interviews, listen to stuff. And today was the interview with Jordan Grace on CVV. And CVV is basically what goes through my stereo when I'm driving and making these calls. And I love listening to him because he asks you get the best interviews from him. It doesn't feel like it's your standard sports interview. You know what I mean? You're like that we see on ESPN or even WWE backstage. You know, it feels like you're getting to know the person. Knowing Jordan Grace, I just found out today, Jordan Grace will not refuse a cookie if you give her one. Like she's she's sweet, but not like candy. And I found out through that her and Moose talk about. So just little things like that, I find so fascinating about the industry because it humanizes these superheroes that we see on our screen.
Well, and for a long time, they weren't allowed to let you see the real side of them. They had to very much be in character. So, and I think that's why CVV is so good, because he's like a legitimate fan of wrestling. So he knows the fan side, but he also cares to learn about like the business side and the professional side, like behind the curtain stuff. And so he knows what fans want to hear, but then he also will ask questions that you didn't even realize you wanted to know the answer to. You know what I mean? So it's like a really healthy marriage, I would say. And that's why it's important, I feel like, when any interview is happening, you could even say it with like professional sports, MLB, NFL, whatever, that you are not just sending a generalized reporter to go and cover. It's like crucial, I feel like, if possible, that you send somebody who actually watches the product or the sport or whatever, so they know what questions to ask, what people want to know, blah blah blah. So
yeah, it's very you can see it when the wrestlers make the local news station appearances, more so AEW now than they're just like, who, like, so what do you do? So you say can we get a yeah?
Oh, I loved watching the recent one of Pretty Deadly on the news. Oh my God. at,
I don't
like,
think I
in the
saw
morning
that.
news. Oh, I think they posted it on their Instagrams, but it's
Oh,
just funny because they're the newscasters, the weather people, whatever, like, they obviously are not fans or, like, aren't super familiar with wrestling,
yeah.
or what they think is wrestling isn't what it is anymore. And just seeing two guys that are super flamboyant and, like, very witty, then in the presence of people who are supposed to be serious, like, all the time, it's, like, such a weird thing to watch, because you could tell they, like, did not know. Like, oh yeah, because he was like, "Can I get a yes, boy?" And the guy's like, "Yes, boy." Like, he just like, I don't
He's
know.
like, yes, boy. Yes, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Like, what?
I know
It's good
exactly what you
stuff.
mean.
Yeah.
It's good shit. It's such good shit.
Yes.
It's good shit to be back here because we got the Royal Rumble in just a few days. Sarah, I got on TV Beta over there. Bezos. That's a B. I got Royal Rumble 1990 because they're courtesy of the WWE Vault. They're doing like they have full match and then a playlist, and then it just like a song shuffles. It's great. It's one of the best things that WWE has done with social media and their online footprint is putting these matches at full length and different matches from past live events. But in this instance, the Royal Rumble, I mean, the best way to get excited for the Royal Rumble is to rewatch old ones, because how awesome is it to go back and rewatch like the 2001 Royal Rumble, where all the weapons, and then you have the even last year's, if you want get as recent as that. It's just nice to see the progression of it, and it's one of the most unique matches and just unique events in all sports, period.
Yeah. I mean, you could even just go back a handful of years and realize, like, how good we have it now.
Oh my god.
I
I
mean,
mean, some of those rumbles.
some go back like 10 years and it's like fucking Diesel is walking in. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, 2014.
Why do we need that right now?
I am very. Oh, there is one moment. There is. All right. Do you remember? I forget what Rumble specifically. I feel like it was 2013. It was the one where Danny Bryan, whatever was leading up to WrestleMania 30. I'll leave it. That's the easy way to put it. Whatever was leading up to WrestleMania 30. Before that Rumble, I think that weekend before, they did a lot of cuts. Can you hear that, by the way?
Hear what?
You don't hear a washing machine going off like an aircraft? No?
Nope.
Okay, because it's wicked loud in my ear. 2013 or 2014, leading up to WrestleMania 30, that weekend of the Rumble, I'm pretty sure WWE made like 8 cuts. Like, they released a lot of people. And it wouldn't happen now, obviously, but that's the era we were in. And I, having the mind that I did, I had a feeling that these cuts were people that were going to be just fillers in the Rumble so that a bigger name can get that spot of eliminating them. And so I'm like, I wonder, Justin Gabriel was one of the people that was released. So I'm like, oh, when was Justin Gabriel going to be put in this match? And I remember the Boogeyman made the surprise return, and I'm cackling like almost on the floor. And this is when I would bait my friends into watching pay-per-views by having something else on the second TV, like a game of some sort. So they'd watch that, and they're just looking at me like, why? Like, this just creepy Boogeyman just came out, and you're on the floor laughing. Like, why?
Yeah.
I'm like, you don't get it. Like, they released this dude just so that a legend can appear. That's so Vince McMahon, and it's so FU era of WWE. Like, oh, I was just
you don't get it,
happy.
Mom.
Like, you don't get it, man.
It's not a phase, Mom.
It's real to me, damn it.
Yeah.
I'm so happy we're out of those days. I'm so happy we're out of those days, because a lot of buzz is around the Royal Rumble right now. I mean, Indianapolis is changing street names to wrestlers' names or even their catchphrases. And then you have, what else is going on? Like,
they're making signs in the airport. There's a whole setup in the airport, like right when you land or wherever, like baggage claim, and it's like an official WWE setup to make posters for the show.
It's incredible.
It's
absolutely insane.
I want to go to a Royal Rumble eventually.
Yeah, I do too. It's the only one out of the big four. If I go to a Royal Rumble, then I would have gone to all the big four,
I haven't.
which is
I would have to
ironic
go to.
because
I'd have to go to a
Survivor
Survivor
Series?
Series too. Yeah.
oh, War Games is fun. War Games is cool. Okay, because I could go on a Royal Ramble about that, but we got to hear from the comments we have here from the peeps. Nathaniel is just excited about the Lakers and the Royal Rumble, though. So, all right, we're going to tie it in, but he's excited about the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a fantasy, Nathaniel. I hate to break it to you, pal, but can't beat the Celtics. You know why, Sarah? Because the Celtics are the balls. This would be a kick in the balls.
No, he thinks unless The Rock returns on at 31.
I feel like that'd be just
That's a
very.
Vince thing.
It is a Vince thing.
Like he'd be like, "Oh, there's another one." You know, like when he did the 40-man Royal Rumble. I'm like, you
which
barely
Alberto
have.
Del Rio won.
And it's like you barely have 30 people. Why would you extend it? But...
Whoa!
What?
My screen just like got wicked close. Zoomed in. What's up, David? Good to see you. I did see this today. I will bring this up because I was scrolling through TikTok and some girl was doing a trend of if I hear these 3 songs at the Rumble, I will shut it off.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was Brock Lesnar.
It's not happening.
I will say I did get hyped hearing his music again, though.
You can listen to it.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. No. I'm saying I just like hearing the song. You're like, yeah, fucking Brock.
Sure.
I don't want to see him at the Rumble though. That's
absolutely not.
Just want to say that Brock Lesnar just gets me in the mood. But you know what else I'm in the mood for, Sarah?
No.
Don't be a lemon, be a rosebud.
It is time for our lemons and rosebuds, favorites and least favorite things of the week that happened in wrestling. And Sarah, I'm gonna let you, ladies first. What was your favorite thing you saw this week in wrestling?
There was something that I had like earlier in the week and I can't remember what it was now. So I picked something else. Oh, I don't have to say much about it because I have something else to say, but the I don't know what they call it, but like that Hot Ones competition.
Yeah, the Hot Ones.
Drew McIntyre and Sheamus is gold. I love them so much because it was so good. I just love them. So if you haven't seen it yet, I would watch it. It's pretty funny.
They're competitive.
Yeah,
it's the competitive nature, and they're best friends. It's gonna be gold.
And they just have potty mouths, which I love also because you like don't get to hear that, you know.
Yeah.
But anyway, we just found out kind of today, I guess, that Stephanie McMahon is officially back with WWE. So she basically announced it, I think, like on Pat McAfee because she was there.
I haven't seen any of that, as I said, driving around state of Massachusetts today. So, Commonwealth Massachusetts, but
so she said it there, and then she also is going to be premiering a new show on ESPN. So she was plugging that too. And I am excited about this because I was super disappointed when she decided that she was leaving. And it wasn't disappointed because she decided to leave. It was disappointed that it got to that point where she felt like she had to leave. I don't agree with potentially things that she believes. But I do think that she was like a positive force in the back, especially for the women. So seeing that she felt like she had to leave because her father wasn't willing to listen to her, or, he was deciding that he was going to sell the company instead of giving it to his children, or at least to Stephanie, who had been working behind the scenes forever, presumably to take over eventually. That was a bummer. So I'm just curious to see where this goes, like what her role is going to be. And like how much I'm not sure. I
don't know what the role is.
She didn't specify. I don't know that she's gonna have like a super high ranking job necessarily, because I'm sure in a way she's enjoyed that freedom that she's had where she can like do whatever she wants basically, and she can be a mom and do that, or she can travel, or she could do whatever. Like she likes probably being able to just show up to Raw and or SmackDown whenever she feels like it, you know. Yeah. I'm assuming we'll find out whether from her, you know, her mouth or from dirt sheets they'll figure it out, and you know, like what her I guess her title is. But I just don't care because I'm just glad that she's here. So I think that that was a good decision by WWE in general.
Great decision. She needs to be an influence backstage. Look at what she's done for some of the current wrestlers now, you know, current superstars now. And a lot of them in interviews talk about how influential and how much of a help Stephanie was backstage to them in their career. So yeah, it's obviously for the best. I mean, seeing her at Mania 40 when we did was awesome. You know, that was great. So it's going to be exciting to see what her future role is for the company.
Agreed.
Going to my Rosebud, traveling over to the Elite Wrestling Company, because what AEW is doing right now is good. And I think I'm just going to stamp AEW as a whole as my Rosebud of the week, because they need someone in their corner. And, you know, obviously we'll be the first to critique them here on the show. Obviously it's been evident, but I got to give them credit where credit is due. What Jon Moxley is attempting with the Death Riders is a little slow and painful, like pulling teeth, but I see the vision. You know, I see the end game with it. So that's why I'm okay with being on this death ride. It's going to be slow at times. You're going to have times where, you know, Swerve and Ricochet, or even Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, should be main eventing over them. It's okay, because you have stars to do that. The whole point of a main event or a main event is to be your big money fight. And just because the company's championship is not involved, that doesn't matter. It's whatever is bringing money into the company and bringing eyes onto the company. So for the dynamic they have with Kenny and Will and the whole Don Callis stuff, and then the low-key B story being the championship, or a minor story with the Death Riders, is okay. And I feel that people need to just give it time and also not harp on it so much because of the actual other good stuff that is going on in the show. I just mentioned with Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay. Those two of the best wrestlers in the world right now, putting on just banger segments, and then they're going to put on a banger match with Kyle Fletcher and Takeshita over in Australia for Grand Slam. With the Death Riders, the issue is they don't have someone to dethrone them, and that's the point. I have a hot take that I believe Darby Allin is going to be the guy to take down the Death Riders. Darby Allin is in no condition to be competing on that level right now. He's trying to climb Everest. All right. He's got to even recover from the crazy bumps and shit he was doing before all this happened. Like, give him time to get ready for it, because he does need time for it. And in the meantime, if we see Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Marina Shafir beating up the Rock and Roll Express and Cope, like, I'm okay with that as a placeholder. Okay. Like, I didn't even mention this. The Hurt Syndicate, they hurt people, and the crowd is chanting it right back at them. So there's good stuff going on in AEW. The issue is that you got to stop harping on what sucks, because what sucks is going to end up being something that could potentially save AEW from going under.
I think people are just impatient. That's just how it is. Because if it's, I mean, that's just how it is. I think in life, in wrestling, whatever, people want a payoff. And when it feels like it's taking too long, then they check out. You know, I mean, we've talked about stuff going on in WWE where we felt like, okay, this storyline is going on too long, or why are we not addressing this, blah, blah, blah. So it happens all the time. I guess the only good thing about people feeling that way about the Death Rider specifically is it's almost their subconscious way of admitting that they are invested and they are interested in what is happening and or what could happen, and that they're eager to see what it's going to lead to, but they're disguising that by being like, oh, this sucks, but if you didn't actually care about what was going on or what they're doing, whatever, then you wouldn't care that it was taking a long time. You know what I mean? Like that. Why would you bother to have any sort of feeling about it then?
See, Jackson, that's a good question because it's similar.
Yeah,
it's similar
I'm sure he just means like the.
Oh no, I know. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't mean tit for tat. Like it's the same thing. Yes, it is a story that is going to carry the company and be the backbone story of the company for a long period of time, and you can see that in the segments. A lot of people are saying what Jon Moxley is saying is very redundant. Yeah, it kind of is, but when you are that dark shadow, evil force taking villain, if you go back in any form of entertainment, the villain says the same thing all the time. He just can reinforce it. That's what he's doing. He's reinforcing it. And the fact that they don't carry any championships is a major detail that is going to get lost on a lot of casual fans or even WWE or more WWE supporters or whatever. That's going to get lost. They do not carry a championship. They're not treating themselves as champions. They are trying to rebuild and build something new, but it's different and darker and more twisted and evil than what the hero does. It's for the people. The hero does what's for the people. The Death Riders are not for the people. They are for them. They are for themselves and what they believe is the common good. And sometimes the common good has a little bit of dark truth to it. So, and with the Bloodline story, it's similar because that's what the Bloodline did. We are the most dominant force. We are the wrestling family, and it took someone of another wrestling family, another royal wrestling family, to come in and take that throne. AEW does not have that next guy up where it makes sense for them to do it. So, yeah. Hey, Dylan, how's it going? Sarah, that's a lot. Nope, not mine. There's a lot of good, but what's some bad? What do you like? What are you hating on?
I would say the most annoying thing that I saw this week is Mandy Rose. She can't separate herself from wrestling, clearly. And she continues to tease like a potential comeback, but we know, girl, unless you quit
today,
and unless you decide that you are going to quit OF, it's not happening. You're not going back to WWE. But she has a podcast and whatever, which is great, but she tried to insinuate, if not outright say, that last week when Tiffany Stratton said, "Put some respect on my name," that she stole that phrase from Mandy Rose. And so the video was going around. I don't know if it necessarily went viral, but it was going around inside the wrestling sphere on Twitter. And I was happy to see that most people were being like, "You're joking, right? Like, you did not invent that phrase. Like, that is something that people have been saying." It reminded me of when we talked about Carmella being pissed off that Carmelo Hayes was saying Mello is money. And it was because she was like, "Well, I said Mella is money, so you can't say that." So he's basically not saying it anymore. That's like, it's like that pettiness and the lack of creativity that for you to have the audacity to claim that you came up with a saying and so someone else can't say it is so wild to me. Because Mandy girl, you did not create "Put some respect on my name." That's not something that you invented.
you know how many times I've had friends just say put some respect on my name when like playing pickup or
I know.
like
I know.
drinking games or something, like, and they don't watch wrestling and
Yeah.
tell me that.
Yeah.
So
So that's the thing that I maybe it was a play just to get people to talk about her or whatever. I'm not sure, but it just felt kind of silly. It felt petty. Because there's
Mhm.
really no reason for her to really be doing anything that could be taken as a dig at Tiffany because she hasn't
No.
done anything. She's worked her butt off to get to where she is. And
Yeah.
there's it's not necessary at all. We don't need
No.
to be trying to act like she's a copycat or something. Like, no,
No,
we don't
Tiffy
do
is not
that.
a
Be better
copycat
than that.
of Mandy Rose by any means.
No.
Mandy Rose saying, "Oh, that bitch also said this." I was like, "Whoa, all right,
No,
those are
she's
fighting
got
words."
I know she has beef with Tiffany
I was like,
apparently,
"The
and I
fuck?"
don't know and I don't
Do
want to
you
be that girl, but it's
Yeah.
like, are you jealous because she's younger and like she's more girly or like what
She's
is there
getting
a
the push that
jealousy?
you should have, or in your
Yeah,
eyes should have,
well,
like
yeah. And that's
yeah.
the thing is like obviously there's always going to be jealousy in an industry that is based on competition, obviously. Like
Mhm.
it's not just oh, well, they're in matches, that's competition. No, you're competing with people to get on TV, to be in a storyline, to have a title match, whatever. So this seems beyond that because it's not the first time that she said something about Tiffany. It's catty. Like,
Very catty. Do you notice too that Tiffany didn't use it as like the end saying? She used it as a layup to set up her own signature phrase that WWE is actually marketing and have used
mm,
to promote her.
yeah.
When was I don't remember at all during the toxic attraction phase when she was saying put some respect on my name. Like
Me
that was
neither.
like
I
when
don't
that was the
remember
line.
anything like from that era other than Toxic Attraction and their like
Hot girl
entrance and
shit.
whatever.
Yeah,
Like
hot girl shit. That's all I
I
remember.
yeah, I don't remember them having like a catchphrase or anything. So it's like if this saying was so attached to you, then people would have been saying it and only like Stan WWE Twitter was immediately saying it after Tiffany said, "Oh, that's a shout out to Mandy Rose." Girl, no, girl, stop. Stop it right now. Like if only Stan Twitter is figuring this out, that's no. It's not. That's not how it is. Like she didn't come out there and be like, "You can't see me." You know, like that's not what happened. So, I don't know. It's just lame to see this kind of stuff, cuz like obviously we don't know what's going on behind the scenes and maybe there is some problems between them, but you're not in wrestling anymore and you keep toying with the idea of coming back, but then you say things like that and that's not going to sit well with people. And it's just not cool.
No, it ain't. No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not gonna sit well. My lemon is more of a positive because I've been wanting to get this off my chest and I know people are not going to like it. I don't hate the learning tree anymore. I don't hate it. I know it. See, I know it. I know it's like throwing just lemons at you. I said I don't hate it. I didn't say I liked it. I said I don't hate it. It's growing on me like a tree, Sarah. It's You awake? Hello?
No.
No, it's all right. Listen.
I'm just going to sleep through this part.
No, all right. I don't hate it because he's actually progressing it. It's not being stale. Like there's
Okay, but how
an
he's
evolution
been
of
doing
it.
this for like a year. You're saying it took a year for him to progress it.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm interested in Big Bill now.
But
Like,
we
I'm sorry,
also
but because of this, I'm now interested in Big Bill. At the end of the day, that kind of did a job.
all right, but and that's fair. You can feel that way. I'm not trying to convince you otherwise necessarily.
yeah,
But we
you're right.
also do have to remember how many careers he stalled in the process.
That's
of
true.
Getting to
No,
this
that's
point.
true.
Like he made sure he had to win the title multiple times and like work with this guy because, oh yeah, he's gonna get the rub from me as I'm the veteran. And actually you made this guy completely irrelevant for how long, you know? Like that's the kind of thing that I just like can't give him credit for, because like you're still being selfish at like 57 years old. Like, what are we doing?
No, and another reason I kind of do like it is because Ring of Honor has been looking for a TV deal. It's been noted in the rumors that Ring of Honor is trying to get their own television deal, whatever, and you got to do that by putting Chris Jericho as the champion because he is the face of wrestling, veteran that has been there forever and will get you that star power name. That's how he did it for AEW.
Are you sure about that?
I am Vinci. I do believe that, unfortunately, and I don't like it. I don't like that I like it, but at the end of the day, like it's serving a purpose, and it's I don't know. I do not hate it as much as other people do.
So
I still feel your sentiment that he should retire. Like, yeah, I'm cool with Chris Jericho calling it a career, but he's still doing it at like a C level rate. And for anyone his age to be doing anything in wrestling at a C level, it's pretty good.
all right, well, I have a new lemon. My
God.
lemon this week is Pat talking about how he likes the learning tree. That is the absolute worst thing that I have seen this week. I'm just really disappointed in that development, and I'm not sure how I can recover from that, honestly. So that's my lemon.
You know what? It is what it is. It is what it is.
What are we talking about, Nathaniel?
He looks like bro. That is comedy.
Also,
it's not. He said Mello don't miss.
I know, but it's saying, did he was saying that, but that's why we don't hear Mello is money basically anymore.
That's why
because of Carmella.
But he was saying Mello don't miss
at the same time.
Trick. Yeah, when him and Trick even first started, when they were doing the barbershop interview.
Yeah, because the thing is Carmella went off about it on Twitter. Yeah, and then I'm sure she went off about it to like executives and stuff, which is just funny because I think she did that since she's been gone. So it's like, girl, and you only started saying it because you won Money in the Bank, you know, like it wasn't necessarily part of your character. So I don't get it. Again, not a saying that you made yourself. You're just mad because it was Mello and Mella. That was what you were mad about. Because like if Tiffany Stratton were going around and be like, Tiffany don't miss, like she wouldn't say shit, you know. But anyway,
those were our feelings for the week. What we liked and disliked in the world of wrestling. So now it's time to travel around the Wrestleverse.
Should we do our predictions first?
Yeah, we can do the predictions first. I think that's
okay.
Probably best because it is Rumble season.
Royal Rumble.
And Sarah, I wanted to ask you this because I thought of the best comparison I could to explain the significance of the Royal Rumble. I explained to my dad. The Royal Rumble is like the first day of college March Madness, the first round of 64, where there's so much excitement. You know, everyone just wants to watch it. You know, there's just chaos. You don't know what's going to happen. There's going to be surprises. There's going to be upsets. There's going to be, you know, the beginning of Cinderella stories, which that's basically what the road to WrestleMania is when you follow your own yellow brick road. And the comparison to March Madness feels like it makes sense the most because the Royal Rumble is so chaotic. There's an excitement in the air that, all right, we got WrestleMania coming, you know. Oh, well, don't forget we get the Elimination Chambers. Whoever doesn't win the Rumble is going to go in there. So then you have that thought in your head. And then also the surprises. Who the hell is going to show up? It doesn't matter what era you wrestled in, or even if you're a wrestler at all. We saw Drew Carey enter the Rumble. You know, like, it's such an exciting time of year, and I'm so excited for it. More so this year than others.
Agreed.
So let's start. Would you want to do the match? No, let's do where did I put it? Where did I put it? I moved it. Oh, this is awkward. Where did I put it? DIY. There it is. DIY versus the Motor City Machine Guns for the tag team championships in a 2 out of 3 falls match. This is gonna feel like old school black and gold.
Mm-hmm.
It is
1,000%. This one's hard, but I feel like my gut is telling me DIY is retaining. Because MCMG won the titles on like a random SmackDown, correct? Like that was when they won anyway.
Bloodline.
And they don't, I'm not saying that they don't need it, but when we're comparing them to DIY and DIY doing a heel turn and what they're trying to do with this tag team run, I think they need this win more, because this would be like a huge win for them, because it's not just a standard match. It's at a Big Four. It's a 2 out of 3 falls match. And it's more so establishing like their credibility as the villains now, you know, because like, I mean, I think that people view them that way, but it's still like, you know, because for the most part, specifically like Johnny Gargano has always been like the nice guy, like the underdog, you know?
Johnny Gargano.
Yeah. So I think DIY wins. And I'm excited for this match because it feels very random, but they haven't really been highlighting the tag team championships at all. So I'm glad that, okay, they thought about this match and they knew that we all want to see this match. And with a stipulation like a 2 out of 3 falls match, like, yes, please. Like, that deserves to be highlighted on the Royal Rumble.
I'm going Motor City Machine Guns.
Okay.
Because whoa.
I was just going to say my other reason too is just because of how short DIY's first tag team title run was. I felt like they got stripped from it too soon, and this feels like that too. So, yeah.
Well, the Motor City Machine Guns, to me, it feels like we're going to need a title change on the show. So that's where the wrestling brain's coming in and thinking it. But feeling wise, for Motor City Machine Guns to win the tag team titles at like the Royal Rumble, the only thing that makes sense for it to be a bigger win would obviously be WrestleMania. And I have a feeling that if they win now, obviously DIY is going to be clamoring for a rematch. But look at what's going on with the tag division on SmackDown right now. You have the Street Profits. You have Pretty Deadly in the mix. I mean,
boys.
Legado. Yeah, that's Legado del Fantasma. So
those are not my boys.
I already said your boys. Pretty Deadly.
I know. I was like, my boys. Oh, okay. I thought you meant that like my boys were Legado. I was like, what the hell?
No, I was trying to get that name right because they've changed the name like 3 times.
Oh, yeah.
On me. So yeah. But your point is those 3 I mentioned and the champs feels like a ladder match set up for WrestleMania, which then Motor City Machine Guns winning at the Royal Rumble and at WrestleMania really solidifies that they're like the tag team in WWE.
Yeah, but I wouldn't disagree if they hadn't already won the championships. Because I feel like that like monumental moment of having Motor City Machine Guns become WWE Tag Team Champions has already passed, because it happened, and it happened on a SmackDown, and it was that they took it from the Bloodline. It doesn't matter that the Bloodline were only champions for, however long. It was like a blip in there.
Point. Yeah, that was just
yeah. So it's like that was significant. So it's like if that had never happened, then I might lean more toward them winning at the Rumble. But I kind of like the idea of DIY retaining at the Rumble and then maybe Motor City Machine Guns winning at Mania. Because then at least DIY has like a lengthy run. And I would kind of be into like an Elimination Chamber match tag team. That would be pretty sick.
I think that would be the second time that they would ever do that. They have the talent on the roster to do it. A lot better than the first time they did it.
Well, and I guess if they do a ladder match at Mania, then they wouldn't do that. But still, if they want like a one-on-one match, which I think would be cool for DIY in Motor City Machine Guns to have like, you know, a team on team match instead of like a multi-team match. They could still do a ladder match and it's just the two of them. I think that would be a nice way to like not repeat what we saw last year.
Yeah, and a lot of people are saying that, or talking about online, having a ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. So, you know, I mean, I'd love that. I'd love the tag team. Things are looking up, and it's fantastic. So
Nathaniel thinks it's Motor City Machine Guns.
he's going for it. I'm with
also,
you, pal.
Dylan said that Pretty Deadly remind him of Jesse and James from Pokemon, and I love that. I'm obsessed. I mean, granted, both of them are boys. They're both Jameses. However, their dynamic is, it is great. So that's a good one. It's nice to see a guy in here also say that they love Pretty Deadly because,
Final Boss.
Rumble is the best event of the year.
It's my favorite. Obviously, Mania is Mania, so
I feel like Mania can't.
The best.
Mania is everybody's favorite. It's like saying, "Oh, my favorite football game is the Super Bowl." Like, shut the fuck up. We all know.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, obviously, the best event of the year and the one that you're gonna go all out for is WrestleMania. But when it comes to favorites and personal feelings, the Royal Rumble is simply the best event of the year, hands down.
Yeah.
No, before we talk about the Rumble matches itself, we do have a championship match. All right. Yep. There we go. Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens are going to have themselves their own little ladder match for the WWE Championship. Not only the undisputed one, but the Winged Eagle as well. That title is going to be hoisted above the ring. So I'm going to let you go first because I'm conflicted here. I really am.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Mark Henry broke my heart a little bit when he was like, "Oh, it's so significant that Shawn Michaels is there to like, you know, for the contract signing." And he's like, "I know if Scott Hall were here, he would be there too." And I was like, "Did you have to? Did you have to do that, Mark?
On your heartstrings.
Mark!" But anyway, yeah, I love the fantasy booking that I did when when this match was first mentioned and we were like, okay, how are they going to do this? So I still believe, like, as for a prediction, I am still in the belief that Sami Zayn is going to get involved in some way. My heart is telling me, or my gut is telling me, that Cody retains, but Sami is still going to get himself involved. Whether he's intentionally trying to help Kevin or not, I'm not sure, because it really just depends on like what they're trying to do afterwards. And that's really hard, obviously, to predict when you're trying to predict an outcome and whatever. But I do think that we're going to see selfish Sami Zayn, which I am completely here for. And he's going to try and do something to get, maybe he knocks Cody off a ladder, or he tries to do something to help Kevin directly. So I predict that. I also am not ruling this out either. So this was what I wanted to talk about earlier in the week, and I said I would save it for our prediction show. Because both titles are going to be hoisted above the ring. What if we see not like a tie, but what if Kevin Owens gets the WWE Championship and Cody Rhodes gets the Winged Eagle Championship? So they each get a championship. So technically the title like changes hands, but it doesn't, because they both consider themselves champions, right?
You think yeah. Okay.
So like it's like unofficially official, like there was a change, but there wasn't a change because Kevin is still going around. And I mean, he has an argument, obviously, because their match, they used the Winged Eagle as the title that night. So I'm like, that would be kind of a way for them to do that. However, again, it depends on the outcome of the Rumble.
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't know when this match is going to go on.
I know.
During the show, and it's not as clear as it would have been in the past with what goes last and all that, because of one, how star-studded the Royal Rumble is. I mean, the Royal Rumble might go last strictly because Roman Reigns is in it. CM Punk is in it. It might be one of those instances where the championship might have to take a back seat because it's not the biggest match on the show.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I don't disagree with Jackson because it is for, the championship in WWE. Like, as much as I want to believe that that's the World Heavyweight Championship, it's not. We know it's going to always be the WWE title. But I feel like the Royal Rumble match this year is more star-studded than I can remember in a long time. I mean, when's the last time Roman Reigns was in the Royal Rumble? Like, it's been a long time, and we know about all of these names, like John Cena, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, like all of these top people are going to be in the Rumble. So to me, that's grounds enough to be the main event, because it's not just who's in it, which is significant. It's also like the outcome of this match determines what we're going to see at WrestleMania. So that feels like the implications of that are huge. I mean, potentially bigger than who wins, Kevin or Cody, because it's like at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who's going to win, because the winner is going to either choose the World Heavyweight Championship or the WWE Championship. They don't really care who the champion is. They just want their match, their guaranteed match at WrestleMania. So I wouldn't hate it if the men's Rumble is last. But I don't know. Some people like my idea. Final Boss likes it.
Maybe one day you help book. Maybe one day we help book. Who knows?
Oh, yeah. So Dylan says Roman went second on the card last year. Yeah, that's true, because it was him versus Kevin. Unhinged main event Fro said, what if Sammy grabs the titles? Interesting.
I'm just reaching on this comment. Pun intended.
No,
I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I
don't hate it. That's why I'm saying, like, it's hard because who I think might win the Rumble, or who I'm going to pick to win the Rumble, I believe they're going to pick Cody. So that's the problem, is like, if Kevin is still considered a champion, that kind of throws a wrench into it, where I don't know that they would do like a triple threat for the title at Mania. I don't think people would be into that.
No, it's not the year for it, at least in my eyes. The WWE Undisputed Championship and Cody Rhodes being champion, it needs to be a one-on-one match.
Yeah, so that's why my gut tells me Cody is retaining, but I still think Sammy will get involved in some way. And I also I'm unsure of how this really puts an end to Kevin's pursuit of the championship, because you would think that if he loses the Rumble, I mean, I guess he could enter himself into the Rumble match if this match goes on first.
That's what I'm like. KO is going to find a way to be in the Rumble if he loses this match. That's why it has to go the Rumble. That's another reason why the Rumble has to go last.
It also makes sense for Sammy to help him first, because we know Sammy's not winning the Rumble. So it would make more sense for him to come out and try he would have to come out first to try and help Kevin. Because if he already lost, then why is he gonna try and help Kevin?
Because then he helped him in the match, and then it's the Rumble time, and he's like, "You got to help me again," and then Sammy like eliminates him. Like, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
that would be pretty cool.
So I don't know. What is your guess? Because you haven't said who you.
I haven't said shit yet because I still am confused. I don't know.
I know. But don't you kind of love it?
I love it. The fan of me wants Kevin Owens to, win and go on this and be in WrestleMania as champion, whatever. But logic comes in, and that's where it's like Cody's got to win. KO needs to be on WrestleMania or at WrestleMania, but maybe not in the title picture. And Cody winning would be a really good send-off into the road to WrestleMania. Like, he just defeated Kevin Owens in this brutal ladder match. Now what's next? And it's like, like a CM Punk, or like what if someone else wins the Royal Rumble? I'm not gonna say yet, but
I would still like to see some sort of twist, even if it does end up being that Cody wins anyway. Like, I still want to see some chaos. I don't want it to just be an easy thing where the match goes on as usual. Cody climbs the ladder and gets the titles. Like I want there to be some sort of twist that makes the match a little bit more interesting, or could spark another match outside of who Cody faces at Mania or something. You know what I mean? Just because I feel like that's more interesting. And I don't know that we've gotten to the peak of this story between Kevin and Cody yet. So that's also like, you kind of want to leave that open-ended. So I don't know.
What if Randy returns?
What?
I feel
if
like
Randy returns, I think he comes in the Rumble, though.
It's a year of the snake.
I know. I think it's my year, because I think I was born in the year.
You're a snake?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking snake slithering.
I am a snake in the Chinese New Year, and I'm a scorpion as like my zodiac sign. So like, I am lethal, baby. I got venom.
Fuck with you.
I don't fuck with me. Okay, I got venom in my mouth and venom in my tail. I was gonna say my butt, but like, I don't know.
You can. I. That's for you to tell me if you have venom in your butt.
I don't want to.
That's fine. I'm a rat too, Dylan. Yeah.
I'm a snake. I'm a snake. I'm a flurry snake.
snake.
But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. But like, I think that if Randy comes back, it's at the Rumble. Maybe he sets something up with Kevin. Because Kevin's the one who took him out. So maybe that is the way that they kind of eliminate Kevin from Cody's atmosphere right now. I don't know, but we're both going with Cody, right?
I'm gonna go with Cody. I can't. The fan, like, I want to, and I want to root for Kevin Owens so hard because that's my guy.
You can root for Kevin, but like, you can know that Cody going into WrestleMania 41 as the champion is probably what they want.
No, that's exactly what's gonna happen. It's not what they want. It's what's gonna happen, because that's just wrestling. I hate that. I hate sometimes when you're gonna root for the loser.
Mm-hmm.
So
pretty much Sammy accidentally kicks Kevin and Cody wins. Kevin takes out Sammy in the Rumble. Yeah, something. This is what I was saying. That's what I said. That's what I said at the beginning. I'm like, what if they do that?
I don't know.
Very interesting. Yeah, because then technically they both have an argument that they're champion, right? So I don't know.
No sé por qué. Nathaniel's a little scared of you, Sarah. I don't know why.
Because I'm a snake.
because you have venom in your butt.
I got venom in my
butt. Men or women?
Doesn't matter. I don't care.
All right, we'll go with the men's. Since we're on the topic of the Royal Rumble match, we already have alluded to certain events that may happen if Kevin Owens gets into the match, if Sami Zayn is in the match, who's going to win it. So I truly believe this might be one of the most star-studded Rumbles to go into the event itself. I mean, the names already that have been announced, incredible. And it's one of the I have no idea who's going to win. I remember last year you and I breezing through this and be like, Cody. It's Cody. Like, it's Cody. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
And talk about what Cody's going to do at WrestleMania. We're in 2025, and I could give you 3 people for legit arguments on why they should win the Rumble, and it would be, I would say, an A+ or an A- paper.
Yeah. I'm still kind of torn on this for that reason. Like, I don't know, maybe a couple of weeks ago, I was really leaning towards Cena, because there's been the rumors of Cena versus Cody at Mania. I don't love that, though. And they teased a lot of things on the Go Home show of Raw. So it definitely left the door open for a lot of different scenarios, different people for Cody to face at Mania, assuming he retains, obviously. And So when I was trying to figure out, okay, like what do I think is the most likely situation to happen, or what is the most interesting result of this? And it's like kind of predictable. However, I feel like there might be an interesting way for it to happen, and that is CM Punk. I don't, I am not shy about not being a fan of CM Punk. So do I want to see this man win the Royal Rumble? No, because I thought it was hilarious, the whole thing between him and Drew McIntyre last year. Okay. So like, I don't want to see this man get his glory, but I think the reaction from the crowd that was very rowdy on Raw to this end segment between Cody and Punk, that felt different than I think other things that they've kind of teased about who Cody could face. Like this thing between him and Punk, I think could be massive for Mania. Especially their background and how they got back here, and Cody not being 100% a good guy, because he's like, you're chasing me now. Like, I have what you want. I've done what you want. Like that kind of edge that we haven't really seen from Cody in this run.
We haven't.
I like that. And we've discussed how Punk could go about getting this favor back from Paul, right? What if that is eliminating Roman from the Rumble? What if that is the favor? Ensuring that Roman is out.
Sarah, our wavelength on it. That's what I'm thinking. That's the favor. That's because what's the real favor is the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
How do we get that favor? Eliminating the OTC.
Because we could, I don't know who he could enlist, but what if the final two is Roman Punk? And the way for Punk to win is somebody comes out and eliminates him or helps eliminate him. I don't know who that could be.
Brock Lesnar.
Oh my God.
That would be just earth shattering.
It would, but at the same time, like he couldn't just come back and do that and then dip. You know what I mean? So like,
it's not a perfect world.
Yeah. But I kind of like that idea because I don't know. That seems more something that maybe Paul would do. It doesn't even have to be that they're the final two. It could be like, I don't know, somebody comes out and like Paul spoke to him beforehand and is like, okay, I need you to get rid of my guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe the plan starts to fall apart. Like he enlisted a few guys and like they get eliminated and whatever. So it's like, oh shit. But it feels like that would be like a cool way for this to go about it. It also gets heat on Punk because people are super behind Roman and they're super behind Punk, but how they would go about it if it were down to the two of them, or like, how do you choose? Like if it looks like Punk maybe enlisted the help of Heyman or somebody else to eliminate Roman, I feel like that would get him heat, which makes sense if he's going to go against Cody. Like somebody has to be the bad guy. Like they don't have to be necessarily in this era, but obviously I think it's wise when you're going against like somebody like Cody Rhodes right now that there is an established bad guy in this situation. And this doesn't mean he's like a full-blown bad guy, but it still is kind of like, oh, how you got here is a little bit questionable. The only issue I would say that arises from this is that if Roman finds out, what happens with him and Punk? Like, do they figure that out before Mania? Like, do they have a match at Elimination Chamber to kind of like squash that beef? Or is it another case of like, do they face each other night one of Mania and then whoever wins faces Cody night two? Like, are we going to do that kind of thing again? It feels like it would have to be something that like, that feels like unfinished business that would need to be dealt with before Punk goes after Cody,
It would. I agree with that.
So that's the only problem I think that comes from that scenario.
You ready for my pick?
Yes.
It's John Cena.
Okay.
John Cena is winning the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
I hate to break it to you, but John Cena is winning the Royal Rumble.
I'm John Cena's like number one fan. You're not breaking anything to me.
Maybe I'm not talking to you directly.
Okay.
Maybe I'm just talking directly to peeps.
Okay.
That I hate to break it to the peeps, but John Cena is winning the Royal Rumble.
Mm.
It only makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Is heavily advertised, so I don't think he wins. He could still be heavily advertised because it's his last tour. Okay, it's his last tour. Cena's going to win the Rumble. It's going to be the way that he gets the championship, and he'll either face Cody or Gunther. It doesn't matter at this point because you need to have him competing at WrestleMania in a marquee match like this because he can still go.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is,
Do you want him to win 17 at Mania? Because you've said you didn't.
Emotionally and as the fan, yes, I want to see John Cena win 17 at WrestleMania in his final year, I want to see him come out on Raw the next week and show it off and say the champ is here and have him do an open challenge and all this stuff. But when you think of the landscape going on right now, unfortunately, it's just not possible. It would be better off him losing and then working his way to the climb to then win it on his last night. And then he would hand it over, vacated, be a whole segment on Raw, celebrating John Cena and whatnot. That seems like the direction that they are going with the current climate of WWE right now. But back to my point is that the John Cena is going to win the Rumble.
Okay.
And you either like it or you don't. But
I like this idea though, because I don't think Rock is working Mania. And when I say working, I mean in a match.
There's been no reports about that. So.
No, so I think that I think The Rock will be at Mania in some capacity, but he's not currently training like he was last year to have a match. I just don't see it happening. So I don't hate this idea of The Rock being the reason why maybe Roman gets eliminated. If it were in a perfect world, yes, we would get Rock Roman this year because the people who were upset that we didn't get it last year would just have to wait a year and get it the next year. It doesn't feel like that's what's going to happen. And that would be the main problem I would have with The Rock getting involved is like, if he's not going to work Mania, then is there a point to him even getting involved? On top of, he basically ended the Final Boss thing on the Netflix debut. Like, he kind of killed the Final Boss. So that's another thing that's kind of like, I don't know. But I mean, if it's going to be Punk versus Roman as like the final two, or at some point, it makes sense that The Rock would be like the go-to guy for that. I just think that there's some other things that like don't line up to make that make sense,
I agree. I do agree. And to wrap it up with the Royal Rumble talk, Women's Royal Rumble, which has not been getting a lot of promotion like the men's. Not the worst thing in the world. To me, it just seems that because of that, we're going to see a lot more legends and NXT call-ups in the Women's Rumble compared to the men's.
Yeah, so I was trying to think, like, I think for the men, like, the only one that I could think about that like might return is Randy Orton. He's like the only one that I could think of that might be a surprise return for the men. I think more surprises are going to come from the women. We know that Charlotte is going to be there. It's almost certain that Becky Lynch is going to be there. I also feel like it's almost certain Alexa Bliss is going to be there. Jordynne Grace is going to be there. I would not be surprised if Roxanne is in it, because it felt like she was like on her way to getting called up. Wouldn't be surprised if Nikki Bella is in it just because of everything that they've been talking about. However, I feel like if Nikki's in it, she can't be the only like legend, because it feels kind of weird to only have one in it. It just feels kind of like, why'd you take the spot of one girl that could have been in it? You know what I mean? Because it would be like, oh, she took the spot of like Candice LeRae or something, and that feels kind of silly. So it feels like you would have to have at least two for it to be like, okay, this was planned, this was a thing, I mean, we've been saying for weeks that it feels like it's Charlotte that's going to win. I don't want it to be Charlotte. I want Charlotte to win the Elimination Chamber, and that's her way to Tiffany at WrestleMania. That's her way to lose to Tiffany at WrestleMania. So I'm going with Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace debuts in WWE. She wins the Royal Rumble, and she challenges Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Title. That's what I'm going with.
I'm going with
Oh,
EO.
yeah. I forgot about this. Yeah. I mean, this is a thing, but like I forgot AJ Lee. Punk, insinuated that she would be there as well.
Oh, all right. So I'll take that banner off.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't read the whole thing, but yeah, that was just another one that we might see AJ Lee. Although I still feel like we need to kind of be careful about that, because unless she's planning like at least a month or 3-month return, fans are not going to be happy if it's just a one-off. So, I mean, you got to take what you can get, I guess, but still.
Take what you take. You get, you know what the phrase is. I got EO. I think EO just is a wild card. I have no idea. And
I know.
I'm a big fan of EO, and EO versus Rhea would make money move at Mania, so I'm for that. Nathaniel.
Oh, sorry. I was putting this name. He Sol Ruka and Lola Vice. Go ahead.
Thinks Becky is going to be returning at the Rumble. So
Sam, oh my God, I can't even tell you how I am. Dylan likes the Jordynne Grace versus Ripley.
Yeah,
and the reason I even think that is because Jordynne Grace feels to me similar to how WWE approached Jade Cargill when she first came. It just feels like the second she's in the company, they're going to push her to the moon immediately. I mean, they basically did a lot of that when she was in the Royal Rumble match last year. They really kept her in there. They highlighted that she was the Knockouts champion. Like, she was in there for a while. So it was like, okay, that feels like that's what they'll do. And I feel like the easiest way to do that, like to the biggest extent, would be to have her win the Rumble. And Rhea doesn't really have anything going on right now. They took Liv away from her. She has like no enemies really. So to me, it's like, why not give her somebody that is like equal size, equal strength, equal power that people would want to see? And it feels like Jordynne Grace. And like, I mean, the reason I don't pick Charlotte also is because I feel like it's too obvious for her to return and then go and win and face Tiffany. I would rather see her have to earn it, like lose the Rumble and then go through the Elimination Chamber. So that way we at least can say, yeah, she's in another title match at WrestleMania, but at least she like worked and had to earn her spot against Tiffany.
Correct. I got that. All right, so we got our predictions there. All right, so get rid of that. And then a lot of people talking about this being a possibility. We have WrestleMania already 2 nights. SummerSlam's going to be 2 nights in 2026, right?
No, this year, I think.
This year it's going to be 2 nights. Could we potentially see the Royal Rumble go to 2 nights?
I understand this idea of making the big 4, like all of them 2 nights, but to me, Survivor Series and Royal Rumble, they don't feel like 2-night PLEs to me.
Royal Rumble more than Survivor Series. Well, one Rumble is the main event. That's why.
No, I know, but they could also do that with Survivor Series. The men's is
War games.
Yeah,
but like, blanked on that.
I think it should be something that I don't know. I would prefer if it was like more organic. You know what I mean? Because I think at some point, like if you really look at what is on the card right now, what else would you add to fill up 2 nights that isn't on the card already? Because that's the thing is like you have to add more matches, because it can't just be, instead of an 1.5-hour Rumble match, we're going to do 2.5, to like fill it up, or 2 hours and 15 minutes. Because like that doesn't mean that it's better just because you're making it longer. But if you have to add more matches to fill the time, that means you're eliminating more people from the Rumble matches, and that doesn't seem like that's fair unless they're going for the world title, like. So I don't know. I would rather it feel like, oh, it makes sense for this to be 2 nights this year because look at all of this stuff that's going on, because they're going to have to approach it way differently than they ever have, because typically Royal Rumble is the start of what dictates what WrestleMania is going to be. So they kind of like to finish off whatever random feuds that they've had that has been prolonged from Survivor Series all the way to the next pay-per-view, which is a Rumble.
Mhm.
They typically like to end those. And it feels like this would mean that you can't end a lot of them until the Rumble. And I just don't know if that's a good idea.
No, it's not. I can see that. I can see that thought process. I'm just I don't mind it. I don't really have a strong opinion about it, but if they're going to do it, like, yeah, what you said, you have to fill the card with something. And right now it doesn't feel like there's anything of significance. Maybe having the Raw tag team, maybe the War Raiders defending their titles.
It would have to be more mid-card stuff also, but then again, those are people that would want to be in the Rumble match.
So it's counterintuitive.
It's conflicting. So yeah.
It is interesting. And speaking of the Rumble, to wrap up Royal Rumble talk, WWE transfer window ends after the Royal Rumble. So
interesting.
Now we have an ending. Now we have a closing date.
I don't hate it, but I also feel like they should have started the transfer window quite a bit ago. Like maybe start it at the halfway point, because typically what they've been doing over at least the last 2 years is the draft is like a week or 2-3 weeks or whatever after Mania. So it feels kind of silly that you're just doing this 2 weeks before the Rumble, and then you're like, oh, okay, after the Rumble it's over, and then we're at the draft and it's like maybe they'll be moved. It's like, well, maybe at the 6-month point already. You should have changed people, because then you would have seen, okay, this isn't working, let's move them, and at least then they would have had 6 months on the opposite show. But I mean, I guess at least we're getting an explanation, because that was an issue that people had, that we weren't getting any sort of reasoning behind this whole thing coming up now.
Yes. Oh my God. And then wrapping up the Wrestleverse, Triple H is the headliner of the WWE Hall of Fame class. He was surprised during a town hall style meeting at WWE HQ by good friends HBK and The Undertaker and Nick Khan, and they announced that he will be headlining WWE's Hall of Fame class of 2025. Sarah, I don't care what anyone says about, well, the boss is inducting himself. No, fine. Are we going to sit here and say that Triple H was just not going to be in the Hall of Fame? Of course he was. It's just timing makes it a little bit sketchy.
It wouldn't have mattered.
It doesn't matter. Correct. Thank you. It doesn't matter.
Not even that. It wouldn't have mattered if he went in this year or in 5 years. He's still going to be the guy in charge. So it's like, that's not changing. So what is the timing issue? He probably should have been in the Hall of Fame sooner. However, it was only 4 years ago or whatever it was that he found out that he couldn't be a wrestler anymore. So I prefer when that happens. I prefer when someone gets put into the Hall of Fame when they literally will not wrestle again. I hate when they're in the middle of their career. I don't love it. He should be in the Hall of Fame, and I'm not arguing that. I think it's because of I'm so used to sports that I have that brain. So my mentality is no, you got to be away for however many years for this to make sense. I think this is fine. It seemed genuine to me that he had no idea what was going on. And I think after what he's been doing with the company over the past 2 years and just completely revitalizing it on top of the Hall of Fame caliber career that he had, it's about friggin' time that he gets put in.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's probably nobody better than him to be the headliner.
There's no one right now. The only other person I can think of is Bray Wyatt, but it's too soon for that, and anyone else does not make sense for the era. So
yeah, no, I agree. So I don't get why people are complaining. Again, like we said, it's it wouldn't matter if it was 5 years from now. You still have the same complaint, but you can't argue that Triple H is not a WWE Hall of Famer. That's not.
You can't argue that.
That's a DOA argument. Sorry.
It really is. And if you think that, shame on you. No 3 count today. You know why, Sarah? Because we have to go.
I know
to
we have
another show
in an hour, right?
We do, but we got to get there. We're in the WrestleVerse. It takes a lot of time to travel from there to the stadium where we rant. Like, come on, we got to take time to do that. So go and tune into Ringside Rant at 8:30 over on Stadium Rant's YouTube channel. We are going to be talking wrestling. We're going to be talking Royal Rumble, and we're going to be with Bernard. So anyone in the peeps in the chat who has seen Bernard before, it's his show. That's what we do. We help the peeps. All right. And go over and check that out. Hit that subscribe button and bell notification to know every time we go live. And follow us on social media at Patty Pitts. It's a new Twitter account. Hang 'em High just followed me. That's fucking cool because Triple H follows me on Twitter now. That's awesome. And follow Sarah on Twitter as well at SMarshXO. Thank you guys for tuning in. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try. See you at 8:30 in the ring. Side rant.